Good afternoon. My name is Chloe Wilson, and I am your 2020 Senior Class President. Welcome to the commencement exercises for the graduating class of 2020. We welcome those of you who are in attendance with us today, and we also welcome those viewing graduation via the internet. We know that you two are here with us in spirit. The program will go as follows. After my comments, we will hear from our valedictorians, Erik Goodwin, Cara Pugmire, Lorenzo and Elizabeth Wada. Following the valedictorians, Mr. Carter and our principal will present the graduates. Mr. Miller, the chairman of Snake River High School Board of Trustees, will accept the graduates. From there, each group of graduates will proceed to the auditorium for the presentations of the diplomas and the ceremony of turning the tassels. Hey everyone, my name is Chloe Wilson and I'm your 2020 Senior Class President. I've had a lot of time to think about this speech because, Corona, which was an unexpected twist for all of us. Anticipating all year for this speech, I was sure it was going to be one of the most terrifying experiences of my whole life. Looking at it now, I wish I could be giving it in front of all of you. The past 12 years of our lives have been spent working towards this very moment. I would like to start by saying congratulations to all of you. Graduation is a celebration of the hard work we have put in. From all the late night studying to the last minute assignments turned in, it has finally paid off. Graduation marks the end of a chapter, but also opens the beginning of a new one. Some of us will be going to college, some of us will be entering trades, and some of us will remain in our parents' basements. No matter which path we choose, the lessons that we've learned here stay with us. Over the past 4 years, we have grown up together. We've laughed together, cried together, and we have tried to figure out who we wanted to be. And as Senior Class President, I'm supposed to somehow gather all of that and put it into one speech. This seems like an impossible task, but here I am doing it. Transferring to Snake River High School my freshman year was one of the best decisions I could have ever made for myself. While it was a difficult adjustment, it almost instantly found acceptance and support from the students here at Snake River, making the 40-plus mile drive every day worth it. The acceptance and support I received from you guys helped shape me into the person that I am today. I would have never imagined myself playing soccer, cheering again, and I would have especially not imagined myself becoming Senior Class President. This school changed my life for the better, and I hope you guys find the same acceptance and support in whatever journey your life takes you on. Thank you for helping me discover who I am and making the past 4 years the most memorable moments of my life. So far. We all walked into high school as timid little freshmen, and now we're walking out as strong young adults. Whether we want to admit it or not, high school has developed us into the people that we are today. No matter where you end up in life, always remember where you started. Remember the lessons you were taught, the strength you gained, and the friends you made along the way. Congratulations, Class of 2020.
Hello, Snake River graduating class of 2020. The biggest of congratulations to all of you. You've managed to not only survive, but also complete 13 years of public education. First off, as is traditional, customary, bland, and yes, a little boring, I wouldn't feel right if I didn't thank a couple of people. Thanks to all of my teachers. Mrs. Bourne and Mrs. Hillman gave me an awesome foundation and instilled a love of learning, making it fun and cool. This attitude has stuck with me ever since then. As I grew older and became a part of the high school community, I still had a reliable support system around me. For example, when I was hospitalized at Primary Children's during our junior year, the staff at Snake River High School made sure I was well taken care of. I like to quote a letter sent to me by our dean, Rich Dunn, although as a disclaimer, he had neither heard from me nor before that had he actually seen any of the staff at Primary Children's Hospitals. Erik, hope you are starting to feel better. Don't worry about school. We'll get it taken care of and figured out when you get better. Get well soon. P.S. I'm so glad that you think your nurse is hot. I hope that it makes your stay better. Man, you must think she is really special because that sure was a lengthy description of how dreamy she is. Anyways, make sure and take a picture and tell her hi for me. True, his attempt to embarrass me in front of the female and male nurses was rather silly and unconventional. It did lighten a pretty crappy time during high school and let me know I wasn't forgotten. I'd also like to say thanks to my awesome friends. You've made high school fun and much more bearable when compared to the struggles of AP classes and late nights writing procrastinated essays. Thanks to my Aunt Katie, who's been giving me tips on how to write a valedictorian speech since I was like 9. And finally, I like to thank my family, especially my parents and grandparents. My hope is that by the end of this speech, some small part of you will be invigorated, inspired by the possibilities that you may achieve. I believe that with effort, each and every one of you can and should be a leader in the future, or even now, no matter your limitations. Today, I'll be talking about what a leader is, what it isn't, and what a good leader does. Google, source of all knowledge and wisdom, defines the word lead as either the initiative in an action, an example for others to follow, or to be a route or a means of access to a particular place or a particular direction. So who is a leader? Well, a leader is each of you. If you've ever led the way, set an example, had a new idea, no matter how small, or even just gone first in something, then you've been a leader. And if you're sure you've never done any of these things, then you gotta get out of bed just a little bit more often. Inevitably, we'll all be leaders or put in a position of leadership. But wait, what if I have no idea what to do? The thing is, none of us are perfect. And leading can be hard and risky. But when the time comes, don't do these things. Don't get stuck up, high and mighty, or angry. As a leader, you have to be worth following. My youngest brother, Duncan, has an ingenious way of getting people to do what he wants. He starts screaming at them. Loud. Really loud. Unsurprisingly, this isn't super efficient. It only serves to make people annoyed. So, after a flash of inspiration, he usually comes up with a new and even more brilliant way of talking to them. He screams, even louder. By now, he occasionally gets what he wants, but never in the long run. The takeaway is that force isn't the answer. Fear and anger never result in leadership, only temporary compliance. As Mahatma Gandhi put it, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. We've covered some of the attributes and requirements of leadership, but what does a leader actually do? The answer is no. They do not sit on their rear end while other people do their work. Quite the obvious, actually. When I looked up the greatest leaders ever, I repeatedly saw names like Martin Luther King, Lincoln, Churchill, Gandhi, Caesar, Mandela, and Roosevelt. The thing they all have in common? They sought to change how things were. And the best part is, this is something that you can do too. So as you, class of 2020, go out into the world, look for problems, inadequacies, injustices, and inequalities. As you try and change even these little things around you, people will gather behind you, your goals, and your cause. And when that happens, Snake River High School will have made the world a better place. I'd like to end with a poem by William Ernest Henley, except for I've made one small edit, switching nearly every I for the word you. Out of the night that covers you, black as the pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be for your unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, you have not winced, nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, your head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. Yet the menace of the years finds and shall find you unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments your scroll. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. Thank you, Snake River Class of 2020.
Hello to my fellow graduates of Snake River High School. We finally made it. Regardless of what you may be feeling now about our current situation, I want you all to know how proud I am that we get to be here today. It may not be exactly the graduation ceremony we pictured, but it still represents an amazing accomplishment and all of the hard work that we put in to be here. These last few months have thrown a wrench in the gears and taken away many of the experiences that we were hoping to finish high school with. Although we missed out on some things, we will always have the memories of the years before. We will remember the first time we walked through the doors as much as we will remember the last. We will keep the knowledge that we've gained and the friendships we've made. We're about to head off on our own great adventure that is life. One of my dear friends always says that life is like a river. Over the last year, I've come to realize how true this really is. When you look at a river, they always have a few key components. First, rivers are always fed by the headwaters. Sometimes this could be mountain runoff or a natural spring. In most cases, rivers usually build up power the further away you get from the headwaters. Second, Rivers have a natural flow, or a pulse. These are the natural ups and downs of the river's course. Rivers can flow slow and smooth, or rapid and rough. Some rivers have whitewater rapids, and maybe even waterfalls. Each of us has our own river of life. At the beginning of senior year, we were floating through a relatively smooth part of our river. We only had 1 year left of high school. Our classes weren't as rigorous. Our lives were falling into place, and we had so much to look forward to. Then, a few months ago, we all hit some rapids. Everything changed, and many of those opportunities were taken away from us. We were expecting to have a senior prom and a senior trip. We thought we would be able to finish our senior year actually at the school and not from our couches. For many of us, our river may have hit a massive waterfall. Whatever the case may be, we all hit a rough part of our river when we found out that we wouldn't be able to do many of the things that we wanted to do during our senior year. Each one of our rivers will flow a different course throughout our lives. Some of ours may have more rapids or waterfalls than others. Some may flow quicker than others, while some might be full of rocks that get in your way and keep you down. Just like a river, life may not always go in the direction you want it to or think it will, but you can still control how you react to the things that surround you. You can decide whether you want to flow with the current or stay stuck in one spot, never moving forward and never improving. The beautiful thing about life is that you have the ability to create your own. Although you still have to flow through the natural river of life and its ups and downs, you can decide what to do along the way. As you progress, you will build skills and talents that will help you further down your river. For all of us, high school is a crucial part of each of our rivers. It's a starting point, or the headwaters, for the rest of our lives. The knowledge that you've gained and the lessons that you've learned here will be with you forever. The most important thing to remember is how much you've learned and how it can help you navigate your river. My fellow graduates, I know that these last few months have been hard and that the future is still full of uncertainty. I want you all to know that your hard work is what allowed you to be here today. The countless hours you put into doing homework or practicing for sports or participating in various extracurricular activities have brought you to this point. Now, you have the ability to create your own life. So, congratulations once again to the class of 2020. And going forward, may you all have the strength you need to navigate your own river. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow graduates, parents and family, teachers, faculty and staff, and the random person from the internet watching this for Valedictory Speech Days. May I offer you, fellow stranger, a few words of advice. This is not the speech you are looking for. Before I begin, I'd like to thank a few people. I would first like to thank my parents for everything they have taught me. You are awesome role models, and I look up to you. Literally, I look up to you, Dad. I would like to thank my brothers and my sister for being my best friends. I'd like to thank my teachers for feeding my curiosity. I'd like to give Miss Bedwell a special thanks for teaching me useful words like dippity-doo and dipstick. Thank you to John Hancock for signing your name so large on the Declaration of Independence. Your boldness inspires me. On behalf of the class of 2020, I'd like to thank the community members for supporting us in all our activities. Thank you to our administrators, especially Mr. Dunn, for teaching us the importance of not being tardy. Thank you to our coaches and our club advisors. Thank you to Mike Kirkham for teaching us the importance of giving it your all and the reality that hard work does pay off. By the way, happy birthday, Coach. Let us take one moment to thank everyone that knowingly or unknowingly helped us become who we are today. This is when you would normally clap, which I hope you're doing. But I have no way of hearing you clap, so you'll have to let me know when you're done. Oh wait, that probably won't work either. Well, hopefully you're done by now, because I would like to dedicate my speech to those who live in the shadows, to those who rarely receive recognition, to the sports teams and athletes who never got a state send-off, to the musicians whose events were rarely advertised and never promoted, to the artists whose work went largely unnoticed as they sat in the commons, to the students who were never part of a school-sponsored club, but who still made meaningful contributions to the community, I dedicate my speech to you, the students who lived in the shadows, not the shadows of others' accomplishments, but in the shadow of others' recognitions. Rarely, if ever, is the recognition given to the people who deserve it and need it the most. Every one of you has something to be proud of. I would now like to speak about another type of shadow dweller, the ones who weren't the star player, the prodigy musician, nor the valedictorian. Though the titles of star, prodigy, and valedictorian are admirable, I find those living in the shadows to be even more admirable. The athlete who works harder than the star, but can never seem to be good enough to be a starter. The student who studies all night while her peer sleeps, yet despite her best efforts, she still consistently scores lower. These people, though at times might cry out to themselves, "I'm losing. No matter how hard I try, I'm not good enough." I want you to know that you are good enough, and that you have learned the harder lesson. You have learned to focus less about what others think of you, and you have instead learned to focus more on what you think about yourself. You have learned to concentrate on being better today than you were yesterday, rather than trying to be better than everyone else. I've always found the students in the shadows to be the most admirable, and that's why I wish to bring your achievements to light. Congratulations to those who worked the hardest but never received recognition. My hat's off to you. I would now like to share with you one of my biggest fears I had while in high school. One of my greatest fears, other than tripping on a speaker in the middle of an assembly, was having someone say hi to me in the hall and for me not to know who they were, and having to respond with something generic, without their name. I wanted to get to know everyone, because I truly feel that everyone is worth getting to know. We all have weird quirks and different interests, but this is what makes meeting new people so fun. As we learn to embrace the weird quirks in ourselves and then learn to embrace the quirks of others, we will position ourselves to change the world. The class of 2020 will undoubtedly leave a dent on the world. Now it's up to us to decide if we want our dent to be a positive or negative one. But don't worry, because imaginary dents aren't a thing like imaginary numbers are. Decide today not to strive for recognition, but to strive for positive change, a positive change in yourself, and a positive change in yourself will lead to a positive change in the world. Farewell to this chapter of our lives, and my best wishes to all of you as you embark on your next chapter.
When I was younger, I loved books. In my classes, I'd often hide a book under the desk so that I could read as soon as the teacher stopped talking. I was the most directionally challenged young driver because instead of looking where we were going, I always had my nose in a book. And finally, my parents were often so exasperated with my antics that they would unscrew my light bulbs every night in order to make me go to sleep at a reasonable time. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love books, but life has changed and evolved in a way that doesn't give me as much time to peruse paper pages. Now I spend my time living my own story. Like each of yours, my story features a complex hero who is constantly learning to survive and adapt to the world around them. My hero is never 100% right or wrong, always 100% human, and can even be the antagonist in someone else's chapter at times. Nevertheless, she and I work together to overcome the world's challenges and make our stories worth telling. This year, I asked members of the senior class to write a paragraph detailing some of their high school experiences. Approximately 41% of you guys did submit something for my book. As I typed each entry, I was astounded by everything you've all experienced in these past 4 years. Some of you told marvelous, carefree stories, while others shared tales of deep anxieties and worries. Now, despite these stark differences in each narrative, there was one common element: the fear of not being accepted for who you are. What was it that Buddy told Mr. Incredible? When everyone has powers, no one does? Well, similarly, when everybody is terrified, nobody is. Now, I've spoken to past graduates to see what any of them remembered about their valedictorian speeches. Most remembered nothing, but I so desperately want you to remember this one thing. The only thing that can stop you and your hero from accomplishing great things is fear. Now let me say that one more time because I think it is so crucial to everybody's lives. The only thing that can stop you and your hero from accomplishing great things is fear. Your story will have highs and lows. You'll be subject to triumphs and failures. Every little thing you do will be judged, but you have the power to decide how you'll live your story and what will be written in your book. Life is full of fleeting moments. Don't let your insecurities of one chapter smear the ink of future headings. Go forth with confidence and know that your story is worth telling. Furthermore, don't be afraid to listen to others' stories. Whether you're talking to someone new or someone you've known since kindergarten,
The emphatic connections we make when exchanging histories create ties that bind throughout life. Let us emerge from this graduation ceremony not as individuals, but as part of a greater collective dedicated to help each other live our stories. Congratulations, my fellow heroes and heroines. May you continue to write your stories because we are now on to the next chapter.
Mr. Miller, as chairman of the Snake River School District Board of Trustees, it is my honor and privilege to say to you that the Snake River High School graduating class of 2020 has met all graduation requirements as set forth by the Snake River School District and by the Idaho State Board of Education. I present the class of 2020 for your approval and acceptance.
Thank you, Principal Carter. On behalf of the Snake River School Board of Trustees, we accept the class of 2020 graduates. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the graduates in what has been an extraordinary year. They've been a great example of resiliency, of their ability to adapt and overcome challenges, and I congratulate them on all their accomplishments this year. I'd also like to thank our staff, our faculty, and our administrators. They have done a tremendous job, especially in these challenging times, to meet all the needs of the students and our patrons. They deserve a lot of credit for what is taking place this year in terms of being able to continue our education. And with that, I'd also like to give a special thanks to Superintendent Kearns. He's retiring this year. He's given a lifetime of dedication to education, and most recently here at Snake River High School, and he has done a tremendous job for us, and we thank him dearly. With that, thank you.